Hello dear students, I hope you all are well. Today we are going to study the third chapter of your book Snapshots, that is Ranga's Marriage, written by Masti Venkatesh Iyengar. Let's read about the author first. Masti Venkatesh Iyengar was popularly known as Masti. He was born on 6 June 1891 and he died on the same date in the year 1986. He was an administrator, a professor and a popular writer in Kannada language. He wrote more than 123 books in Kannada and 17 in English. For his contribution to Kannada literature, he was given the epithet Masti Kannada Asti, meaning Masti is Kannada's treasure. And he also received Jnanpith Award, which is considered as the highest award for literature in India. And he got this award for his novel Chikkveer Rajendra, which is a story on the last Raja of Kodagu. Let's see the key themes. The first theme is change in social environment and atmosphere of the village Hosahali due to the increasing influence of English language. Then the second theme is the conflict between tradition and modernity. The story shows how the tradition is deep-rooted in our culture. When we read the story further, we'll get to know about the conflict between tradition and modernity and how the social environment of the village started changing with the influence of English language. Let's see the characters. There are 4 characters in the story. First of all is Shyam, who is the narrator. Second is Rangappa, whose nickname is Ranga. He is the son of the village accountant. Then the third one is Ratna. Ratna is an 11-year-old girl who is Rama Rao's niece. Rama Rao is a resident of the village only. Then the fourth one is Shastriji, who is the village astrologer. Now the lesson depicts the life in Indian villages in the past, when the child marriage was a common practice. The story also shows how a person manipulates, and that person is the narrator of the story, how the narrator manipulates to get a young boy married to an 11-year-old girl in a village. And the story also dates back to the early days of British rule, when English was not used in a big way, when their native language was the only language used. Key details of the chapter. First of all, there is a description of the village Hosahali. It's a village in Mysore in Karnataka, and the village has no mention in geography books. Writers from both England and India don't have any idea that such a village even exists. The cartographers are those who draw maps. So cartographers are also ignorant about the existence of the village. So there is no location of this village on the map. It is not at all placed on the maps. Now the narrator's love for his village. According to the narrator, the village is important to Mysore in the same way Mysore is important to India. In short, the village is very important to Mysore. Then he also mentions some of the main features of the village, like he mentions the sour mangoes of Hosahali, the leafy creeper growing in ever so fine water of the village pond, and he talks about the beautiful flowers of that creeper. He also says that the leaves of those creeper can be used as plates to serve afternoon meals. And he also asks the readers here to contact him if they want to visit his village. Actually, he is focusing on this point that if someone wants to know anything about any place, he or she must visit that place. That is why he is offering the readers to contact him if they really want to visit his village Hosahali. Then Hosahali earlier and now. Earlier in Hosahali, no one ever used English language, neither in speech nor in writing. Only the Kannada was the native language. But now the things have changed. Many are there who know and use English. One can find in every nook and corner one can find people in every nook and corner speaking in English. English has invaded the simplicity and innocence of the local folk. For the narrator, usage of English is a disgrace. He does not like using English language. Now, people of Hosahali, they are quite simple, they are innocent and traditional. They are quite traditional people. They believe in their own customs and traditions. As I told you earlier, child marriage was quite common in those times in that village. And then next is the village doctor Gund Bhatt, who is against visiting England. Though he has seen many other places, according to the narrator, yet he loves his own village Hosahali. Actually, he thinks that there is no other place as wonderful as Hosahali. Now Rangappa's return to his village. 10 years ago, what happened was the village accountant had sent Rangappa, his son Rangappa, to study in Bangalore. 10 years ago, he had sent him. At that time, he was the first person from the whole village who sent his son for further studies. So now, after completing his studies, Ranga came back to the village, and now this, his coming back to the village, his returning to the village was a big event for everyone in the village, because English was not much used at that time, and someone from their village had come back after completing his studies, and so that is why there was a lot of curiosity in the village people. So the people rushed to Ranga's house to have a look at him to check whether he has changed or not, whether he has physically changed or not, whether he is still stick to his traditions, or whether he has adopted the westernization. But the people were surprised to see that Ranga has not changed at all. Now, what are Ranga's views on marriage? Actually, he had been away from his village, he had been studying in Bangalore, so that is why he was under the influence of westernization. So his views on marriage were different from other people. Like, he was against the traditional approach of child marriage. Not at all. He not at all believed in child marriage. The narrator desires to find a suitable match for an educated and generous man like Ranga. Actually, the narrator was interested to get him married, because he thought that Ranga, a boy like Ranga, a good boy like Ranga, would serve a good husband to a girl. So that is why he is so interested that he should get married. But on the other hand, Ranga has some different views. He wishes to take time in finding the right girl. He feels that the bride should be mature enough so that there is some harmony in thoughts and feelings. Like, her thoughts and feelings should also be mature enough. He is against marrying someone who is quite younger, someone who is in her teenage. According to Ranga, a man should marry a girl he admires, otherwise one should remain a bachelor, otherwise one should not get married according to him. Now, when Shyam listens to his views about marriage, he feels a little distressed, but still he makes up his mind that he would get him married soon. Now, the narrator Shyam becomes the matchmaker. What happens is, Rangappa feels attracted towards Ratna, who is an 11-year-old girl, and he's Rama Rao's niece, as I mentioned earlier. So in spite of his modern views, now Rangappa had a modern view about marriage, that one should marry a mature girl only. But here, contrary to his modern views, he is attracted towards an 11-year-old girl. So here comes the conflict between tradition and modernity. Actually, there is an influence of his tradition on his mind, which is interfering with his modern views, and that is why he feels attracted towards Ratna. Now Shyam, the narrator, sees in Ratna a future bride for Ranga. He finds that Ratna would be a very good bride for him, for Ranga. Ratna belongs to a big town and she sings very beautifully. She knows how to play veena and harmonium, and she lives in Rama Rao's home after her parents' death. Now the narrator does what he does is, the narrator plans the girl's visit to his house, and asks her to sing a song. And meanwhile, he also calls Ranga. That was a part of his plan. Now, when Ranga sees Ratna singing, his curiosity is aroused. He is more interested in the girl and he wants to know her better. And Shyam takes delight in Ranga's anxiety. He feels happy to see Ranga's anxiety. And actually, he also knows that Ranga has developed a strong liking for Ratna. So further, what he does is he tells a lie to Ranga about Ratna being married. He tells him that the girl is married, due to which Ranga is highly disappointed. But this disappointment gives an assurance to Shyam that he likes Ratna a lot. He really wants to get married to her, and Ratna would be a perfect match for him. Then Shastri and the narrator's collaboration. Now the narrator makes a plan to settle Ranga Ratna's alliance to get both of them married. What he does is he dictates to Shastri, he teaches Shastri what to say in order to make Ranga realize his hidden love for Ratna. Then after that, when he has a set plan with Shastri, after that he comes to Ranga, and when he finds that Ranga is quite sad, he suggests Ranga to visit a Shastri to ascertain the position of stars influencing his life. Now Shastri, as per the plan of the narrator, as per the script of the narrator, he finds a link. He joins a link between Ranga's thoughts and a girl by the name of Ratna. What he says that Ranga will finally marry a woman whose name refers to a thing found in oceans, like a pearl. So now a pearl is the English word for Ratna. So he tries to frame that link between Ranga's thoughts and the name of the girl. Now later that evening, Shyam meets Shastri near the well, and he remarks about how well he did what Shyam told him to do. But this point is not liked by Shastri. He dislikes what the narrator says, and he defends his profession of astrology by saying that he has developed his Shastra on the basis of the narrator's hints, on the basis of what the narrator has asked him to say. But he also comments that even if the narrator had not given him those hints, his calculations would have given him the similar results. His calculations would have shown the union of Ranga and Ratna. Now the narrator plays Cupid. Cupid is god of love. Now Shama's all relentless efforts bear fruit. Like due to his relentless efforts, everything falls in place. Ranga and Ratna are tied in a wedlock and they live a happy wedded life. Then after several years, here the narrator takes us forward in the story. He tells that one day Ranga invites him to dinner on the birthday of his 3-year-old son. Now Ranga and Ratna have named their son Shyam after the name of the narrator, that narrator who had helped them come together. So it is considered an English custom. It is an English custom to name someone's child after someone's name who you like. So that is why Ranga and Ratna named their son after the name of the narrator, because they liked him. They liked him because he united them for the marriage. So on the day of his son's birthday, Shyam goes to their house, and as a birthday gift, first of all, he places a kiss on the child's cheek, and he also gives him a gold ring as a birthday gift. So this was all about the story, and you see how in the story Ranga goes against his own modernistic views, and he marries a girl in the traditional way only. He marries an 11-year-old girl. And also you saw in the story how English influenced the people of Khosahalli, how English influenced the life of the people of Khosahalli. That was all about the chapter. So now you have to read the chapter thoroughly and while reading the chapter you have to consult this glossary. You need to write the meanings of all the words in your book with the pencils. Thank you and have a nice day.